Yes, Bartolo Genovar was Flagler's networker, as in today. He would be the influencer of St. Augustine, is what Bartolo Genovar was. He helped Henry Flagler get a lot of the local vendors and tradesmen to come in and help him with his horse and buggies, with his flowers, with the food coming out of Elkton. Here they would go load the train right here in Elkton, take the turpentine in, take the gladiolas in, the potatoes and the cabbage, and everything had to be hand-picked in order to, maintain the hotel. Helped him with getting all the horse and carriages to go out to the river to pick the people off the riverboat at Piccolata. And, when Bartola would, Henry Flagler would need something, he wouldn't call Bartola. He would write Bartola beautiful, elegant letters, just unbelievable, elegant letters, the way they had such a special friendship. Very well known.
Yeah, they were
Very
definitely
happy.
friends.
Yes.
You could tell
And
in
we
the
have
writings.
letters written from Henry Flagler to Bartolo Genovar, and from Bartola also to Henry Flagler.
After that.
Because Bartola came back at 18 he was penniless. He didn't have any money. He came back and looked at St. Augustine, and he said, "No way, I'm not letting my beautiful St. Augustine end up like this."
He served in, this is the Civil War. Because even in that, at the Menorcan Day, they have the listings of the people that served and died in the Civil War, and they were both, him and his brother were both in the Civil War.
1846 as he was born. And he died May 5th, 1945. He was the oldest living, he was the longest standing county commissioner for St. Johns County. He was the longest married in St. Johns County to his wife, Mary Louise Gomez.
He also got all the right-of-ways for 95 for the government to come with the right-of-ways for the highway. Many years before he had that a vision for that they have the highway through there.
The riverboats.
That's how they ran the fruit. The fruit was run up through the rivers, all the oranges, unloaded there, brought into St. Augustine and shipped out.
Yeah.
It was the highest, probably most expensive hotel probably in Florida for sure, if not on the whole East Coast, but it would cost $10,000 for them to stay for 4 months out of the year to come down here. It was people like Rockefellers would do it, and so it was very high clientele. He spent more money on the actually those hotels. If you look at the hotels, they're poured concrete. Those were the original the first poured concrete buildings in America. That was just a new way of engineering, and they just did it, and they did it right because they're still around.
Yeah. We've had the house since 1925. Bartolo Genovar and his 3 sisters. Beatrice Marie Genovar, Louise May Genovar, and Louise Anna Genovar.
Okay.
They are the children of Bartolo Genovar and Mary Gomez. And Willard, his son, lived at 271 St. George Street that my sister resides in, still to this day.
Correct?
Yes, it was on Bay Street. He owned Harry's, that it's now Harry's, and also Mary's Harborside, which was the Elks Lodge. He gave it to him. He gave them the property, and so they could turn it into the Elks. And he also named Elkton in 1909 as the first residential neighborhood because he had become an elk. Bartolo Genovar did it in 1909. He platted it as the first residential neighborhood of St. Johns County. And this was pine trees. This was all pine trees that we think we found a bunch of turpentine jars on trees, and this must have been where they got the turpentine because the pine trees would take like 3 of us to wrap our arms around. They were like 70 feet tall. They're huge.
Saps.
Get the sap off of them.
Yep. That's how I think he got involved in this out here, is because of the hotels and getting the flowers and out here with the farmers and with the railroad and stuff. So that's why I think how he got out here. Plus, this is an old Minorcan settlement out here. This is where the Minorcans came out to start farming.
See, and he brought his aunts out here on a horse and carriage. Well, he brought his sisters up. He
Right to the
brought
house out there. There's a
his-
house right over here where Middleton lives. His sisters went out there one time with him, and all the bugs and everything, and they went out there and came back, and they say, "We ain't never going back there. We're not going to live out there.
We're not gonna
gonna
live
stay
there.
out there. We're not
We're never
going
gonna
back
live in
there
Elkton.
again."
Never.
So that was it. Because
That's
he was
why
going
he
to put
bought
it
the
out here,
house
and
on
they said,
Treasury Street.
"He said, there's no men down here.
He's like,
There's no men out here. We're going to go back to St. Augustine."
We're not doing that. Take us back to town now. He says, "But we're gonna stay the night." And they said, "No, we're not. We're going back to town. You haven't turned around fast enough yet." But he wanted to live out here. Now I live out here. He owned the entire area.
Of this
Yes,
plotted
of
area
this
that
plotted
he
area.
plotted right here. We're
And
all,
Masters General Store was in the front. The Masters, the
Povias.
Povias, the Parkers, the Sykeses,
Solanos.
Solana Creek's right down the street. Brownings,
Yeah, they're all, that's
Sanchez.
all Minorcan. That's all Minorcan.
the St. Ambrose Church on St. Ambrose Church Road down here, down the street. And also, what's the one down there at Armstrong the lady was telling us about?
That's a Presbyterian church.
There's a shell of a Presbyterian church down on Armstrong.
That's off the old railroad tracks.
It's off the old FEC railroad tracks, where the bicycle
Yeah,
track
you
goes
can ride
through
the
to
bike path
Plaquemine
by
now.
it now. They're trying to restore it. They're trying to do something with it. But it needs to be
We can take you
restored.
down there and show you.
But St. Ambrose have, like, their cemetery, that's the original cemetery, and there's a lot of old Minorcan gravestones there.
Oh no, we could ask. You could ask Rusty Hall.
I know they're very poor, you know, and probably a lot of them were buried without caskets. And that's, you know,
Because I know when they unearthed the bodies down on Charlotte Street at A1A Ale Works, that they were wrapped in sacred shrouds. That they were wrapped and then placed. But that was right next to the Spanish hospital, so.